Well, welcome to this episode of Disrepair. If you've watched my channel, you know that I have a love for old station wagons. Well, today I want to tell the story of the station wagon that really drove my love for those cars. But I'm not going to tell it from my vantage point. I'm going to let my niece do it. She does a much better job. I hope you enjoy.
Oh, so you want to hear the story about the wagon, don't you? Well, it just so happens I have the book right here. So it all started. My Uncle Dan was insane about cars. He was tinkering with them since he was super tiny. He even works on cars with my dad, grandpa, and his own kids. So when our family got too big for his favorite car, the Mustangs, he had this huge idea. He thought, why not get an old station wagon? He thought it would be super cool, so he called his best friend Gary. He said, "Gary, don't you think a wagon would be super cool?" And Gary, being the good friend he is, said, "Well, if it's an old station wagon, then yeah, that'd be super cool." So Uncle Dan searched and searched on the internet to find the perfect wagon. And guess where he found it? All the way in Colorado. Can you imagine that? That's not even in the same state as us. So Uncle Dan loaded up his truck with his son Lane and Papa Tom, and off they went to the junkyard. So he bought it and brought it home. When he showed Gary, he was super excited. But Gary, well, he wasn't so sure. He said, "Are you serious? This looks like it came straight out of a junkyard." But don't worry. Uncle Dan was determined. He said, "Don't worry, Gary. We're amazing car restorers. We'll make this car super cool in no time." So the work began. Uncle Dan and Gary worked day and night, even in the scorching summer and the freezing winter. And they worked and worked until the old wagon slowly came back to life. It looked so beautiful once it was painted. Uncle Dan said, "I think we made a super cool wagon with this black paint and cherry red top. What should we call it, though?" Gary suggested, "I think we should call it the Cherry Bomb." Cherry Bomb? Uncle Dan chuckled. "I like that." Gary grinned. "Well, let's call it the Cherry Bomb and take it to the roundup." And that's exactly what they did. You know what? It was the coolest wagon at the roundup. But Uncle Dan still wasn't done with his adventures in the old wagon. He drove it a lot and kept working on it to make it even awesomer. And he convinced my dad and Uncle Pat to get their old wagons ready for the ultimate wagon trip. So my dad, Uncle Dan, and Uncle Pat all drove their wagons on a cross-country road trip to Nebraska, Yellowstone, and the Grand Canyon. My brother and my dad had a blast. Eventually, Uncle Dan decided to sell the old wagon. But it's not a sad ending after all. You know why? Because his friend Gary bought it for his wife Lisa. She drives it now and it's still an awesome wagon. And you want to know what makes it even cooler? Lisa loves it too. She's still cruising around in it. But the wagon is still spreading joy wherever it goes. But that's the end of the wagon story. The end.
Well, thanks for watching this episode of Disrepair. I really like to thank my niece for retelling the wagon story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and like and subscribe. We appreciate you guys watching. And until next time.